Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Leave a comment in the chat. Boy, oh boy, Trump won. Not that I'm surprised. I was talking about how this whole move is going to play out. People didn't believe me. There's still a lot of disbelief in the market. Disbelief is key, by the way, for price to continue to go up. You need this disbelief stage to enact a rally. I'm going to show you some clips as to what I've seen in the past, and we'll go into the TA in just a moment. But yeah, let me know where you're joining in from. Are you guys surprised by the election results? I know a lot of Europeans were surprised. I don't know why the Europeans were surprised. Everybody who I talked to was very convinced that Trump was going to win, and that if Kamala did win, that there was some funny business about. It's nice to see that what was anticipated to happen actually happened. It was nice to see that there's less funny business out there than we assumed. Cali Trader coming in from Los Angeles, my old hood. Used to live in Hollywood myself. Fundy AU coming in from, I'm gonna assume, Australia. Let me know if I'm wrong. Yeah, let's dive into the charts here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin.
But before we get into the TA, just a quick reminder, this content is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor, and trading or investing in cryptocurrency comes with risks. Always do your own research and consult with a professional if needed. Any use of trading bots or strategies should be tested and fully understood before implementation. Stay smart, stay safe, and trade responsibly. Let's get into the charts.
We are looking at this channel. So we had identified this channel basically since this low. Well, to be fair, since we got to the midpoint of this low. So since middle of September, we've been calling this parallel channel. This is a new higher high, higher low structure that has been developed. And this new higher high, higher low structure has brought us out of the downwards channel, exactly as I predicted, exactly as I said it would. And I think, the most important thing to note as to how I had so much conviction that we were going to break out on this was time-based capitulation and time-based accumulation. This consolidation, by the time we started to flip our bias, by the time we started to look at this as a possibility of breaking out, it was in an accumulation for 198 days, nearly 200 days of accumulation. It's over 6 months, 7 months of accumulation. The longer something accumulates, without breaking down, the higher the likelihood of a continuation. Throughout the consolidation, when we would look at the volume signatures, there was nothing that was indicating that this was distribution. Anytime we came down to a support level, it was met with volume, with a really large volume signature, which we said back when it happened. We said this volume signature is significant. This is a very large volume signature. It is very likely marking the lowest price of this consolidation. Lo and behold, that is the lowest price of this consolidation. Accumulation went on for 7 months, nearly 8 months, and now we're coming out of that on bullish news, on bullish sentiment and disbelief. There are still bears out there. There are still people who think that this is a fake out rally, that we're going to turn around and head to the downside. There are a lot less of them now, for sure. But now with some of the clarity out there due to the election being over and Trump winning, we have a lot more certainty in the market. The markets hate uncertainty. Now that we have eliminated one of the biggest variables of uncertainty in the market can truly move freely. Maybe some of you have heard that analogy by Samson Mao of Bitcoin being held underwater. It's a beach ball being held underwater. That uncertainty was holding Bitcoin underwater, and boom, that uncertainty is gone. It is time for the fucking moon, and boy, am I bullish. With that out of the way, we got to take a look at the current structure and where we are currently. Now, when Bitcoin breaks out, it usually just goes. Today, we have come up against the resistance of this yellow channel that I've had marked on this chart for weeks. This is technically a resistance point, but I would not be surprised if we just tear right through it, okay? But let's pretend that maybe we don't tear right through it. What would be some of the significant support levels that I would be looking at in the event that we got some sort of a pullback? All-time high. The all-time high, the prior all-time high is an easy one. Let's highlight that a little bit more clearly with a brighter color. You know what? Let's get rid of... No, what we'll do is we'll put a box from the weekly support to the all-time high, the technical all-time high. We'll do something like this. So I would be looking at some sort of a pullback in this range if Bitcoin does take a pullback. Again, what one thing that Bitcoin does quite often, specifically after long-term accumulations, it doesn't always do this, but if you take a look back in history, after long-term accumulations, it breaks out and it just fucks off and it doesn't pull back. It doesn't pull back until you're really, really uncomfortable and you are wanting to FOMO in. And then when you finally FOMO in, then it pulls back. So you be prepared. If this thing just starts breaking out here, if we start taking out the highs here, the new local high at 76,400 here on the index chart, it's probably just going to keep going. That's my experience with the behavior of Bitcoin. Just, be aware that if you're waiting for a pullback to get in, just be aware of that characteristic of Bitcoin where it sometimes just fucks off. So have a plan for that. But in the event of a pullback, when the bulls are in control, you go with the shallow pullbacks. Shallow pullbacks are good enough. So I'd be looking at a pullback down here at around 73,800 or potentially maybe even 71 or 72,000. But again, when the bulls are in control with Bitcoin, if Bitcoin is truly bullish right now, the shallower pullback is the higher probability outcome if we get a pullback at all. Let's take a look at things on the smaller time frames. Let's go to the 4-hour. Turn volume off here. And let's turn alphanumerics on, actually. Just insane. Beautiful bullish cross here on alphanumerics. RSI showing a little bit of slowdown, got quite overheated. Bearish divergence here on the 4-hour RSI. Again, that just means that there's a possibility of a small reset. I guarantee you those waiting for a pullback, as soon as Bitcoin starts pulling back, they're not going to buy because they're not going to think it's shallow enough, or they're not going to think it's deep enough of a pullback. When the bulls are in control, Bitcoin pulls back barely pulls back, if at all. It might just touch the 7 here at 74.7 and just fuck off from there. So we'll have to see. A note on bearish divergence, because we did get a message in the private Discord, or the free private Discord, in regards to bullish divergence. So the thing about bearish divergence, rather, the thing about bearish divergence is it can so easily be invalidated when you're in a bullish trend. Here is a lower high on the RSI and you have a higher high on price. It takes absolutely nothing for the RSI to create a higher high. And then once it creates a higher high, these are not divergent, they're convergent, and you feed into the ability for you to get a rally. I don't typically look for bearish indicators at all when we're in a bull market as strong as what we are about to enter into. It's easy mode. We are entering into easy mode. What I want to caution people of is doing too much. doing too much during these periods. If you have your stack, or let's say you're in altcoins have been doing, not great. So we have some good numbers in the last 24 hours, but overall they've been doing terrible. If you have your allocations and you're going to be adding to those allocations, have a plan for when you plan to add. And then after you have those allocations, the best thing for you to do is absolutely fucking nothing. I cannot stress this enough. This is trading on easy mode. This is going to be the most furious 4 to 6 months of your life. And the more you do, the less money you will make. I guarantee it. The more you do, the more research you do, the more new coins you invest in, the more allocation and diversification and pull some profits from here and move it over into here. The more of that bullshit that you do for the next 6 months, the less money you will make. Period. This is easy mode. You need to be ready. You need to have your plan for what you are going to have allocated in your portfolio. And you have to have a plan for what you're needing to look for when you are going to exit. And then aside from that, you do nothing. Nothing. This is the easiest trading you will experience. And the best way to capitalize it is to be exposed and do nothing. I think I've drilled that point home at this point. All right, let's catch up with the chat here. WA Oz, man, I don't know what WA is. Western Australia. I'm not from Australia. Never been to Australia. I don't know what. See, in my American mind, I'm not American either, but Canadians know pretty much everything about the US. I just see Washington, Australia. Am I right? Is it Washington? I don't know if Australians even have anything to do with Washington, so probably not. So let me know what WA means. Tuning in from Thailand. I'm not surprised by the result, but 80% brainwashed people at home and in the EU are. Yeah, the EU is getting really scary, honestly. Like, we have a lot of members in the EU and their concerns with KYC and the amount of money that they can transact in. They have to declare over €1,000. What the fuck? Why aren't you guys protesting in the streets? Why aren't you guys lighting Parliament on fire? You have to declare €1,000 transaction. You guys are way too compliant. You guys are just way too fucking compliant. It's none of your fucking business what I spend €1,000 on. Spend €1,000 all the time. It's none of your fucking business. Yeah, so there's a lot of brainwash bullshit that we thought was really starting to infect the West. It's very encouraging to see that the free media has beaten traditional media and is represented in what we're seeing here with these election results. Because if you were watching the mainstream media, you were locked in. I was talking with my family. They're like, there's no way Trump's going to win. And I was just like, really? I feel like there's no way Kamala's going to win at all. And all of my media consumption is secondhand through Twitter and fucking memes. And all of their media consumption is traditional mainstream media. They lie to you. They embellish. They doctor. They manipulate. Anyways, I don't know what kind of rant we're on here. Zen Phoenix, am I? You're in Michigan? Guys can't abbreviate shit if it's not, I don't know, maybe you're Western Australia. All right, cool. Well done. I figured it out. Then I backtracked and called it Washington. Well done. All right. Yeah, so short term, getting a lot of short term questions. I mean, the short term is we're having a breakout. So the short term is a breakout. That means when this week closes in 3 days and 21 hours, I mean, the best you could be looking for a pullback is the all-time high. The whole market is going to be looking at the all-time high here, so it might not even get to the prior all-time high is what I'm referring to. So I would front run it. I would just buy now. Just buy spot. This is a breakout. If in 3 days and 21 hours, this candle is above the prior all-time high, I would just buy spot. Just buy spot. Then have a plan for if you want to take a leveraged play. What does that look like? What do you need to see? With the alphanumerics indicator, what we often do is we play a pullback to the green wave with a green diamond. So when you're in these bullish trends, the red doesn't matter. You can see the red doesn't matter. But when you're in the green, well, I guess these greens were shit. Let's find a good example. That's the thing about trading too, is not every... So here's a good example. A pullback to the green wave with a green diamond is a good buying opportunity when you're in a bullish trend. A pullback to the green wave to the green diamond, that's not that's not in the green wave. I mean, there's another example right here. But yeah, nothing is guaranteed. A better one is the daily. I'm sure we got a couple dailies on this run. Yeah, pull back into the green wave with a green diamond on the daily, regardless of wave color, is a good buy. Here's a good buy right here, good buy right here. But as the bulls take control, that's why I'm talking about the full 4 hour. Once we're in that bull market environment, the 4 hour is going to be more bullish because it's the smaller time frame. People get more eager, people get more exuberant and more excited. They take the dip sooner. 80K zone. 80K zone, without a doubt. I think later on in the show, we will do what's going to be a confirmed point and figure count for determining the next price target for Bitcoin. My targets are in excess of $120,000. I think we're going to close the year above $120,000. We'll confirm those numbers momentarily. And yeah, talking code. Yeah. All right, let's just check on the live stream health here. Nobody on YouTube Shorts is commenting, but we got 3 current viewers. Say hello. Don't be shy. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Then we'll get into some of the TradFi stuff. So Bitcoin dominance, okay. Nice to see a little bit of a pullback here. That means alts are playing catch up. Let's take a quick little look at some of the alts that we have chosen that are outlying. We had some really good days here on Sats. Track has been taking a beating. Sats had FB, Fractal Bitcoin had a decent day or two, but still way down from the highs. Let's take a look. Okay, so we still need to change the trend here on Bitcoin dominance. Is this going to be the top? Is this going to be the top in Bitcoin dominance? It's likely, but I also think that once this Bitcoin breakout confirms, we're going to have kind of a really, really nice rally. 80K, no fucking problem. It's only 5. We just had a $7,000 daily candle. It's nothing to have another $5,000 daily candle. We're going to have those $10,000 daily candles. Those are going to be a daily occurrence. $10,000 plus candles per day is what this bull market is signing us up for. And I think we're going to have a couple of those. So that means that I anticipate this Bitcoin dominance to continue to rally to even higher levels. You know, we were calling 60 as the top. I actually think we can push a little bit higher. Let's slide this up and take a look at some of these support/resistance areas. I'd be looking more up here at this point. Very, very bullish on Bitcoin. Very bullish on Bitcoin. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with something like this. So 62% dominance in Bitcoin. I think that's absolutely on the cards. So it's not quite altcoin season yet, not until you get that turnaround. So once we get the turnaround, what's that going to look like? You know, we break through, we come up here, we fuck around here for a bit, then we get a downtrend, established, break some sort of structure. And at this point, boom, that's going to be altcoin season. That's going to be altcoin season. So that's when the alts really outperform. So if you're eager to allocate to alts, what you can do is allocate lightly. This whole market, I'm so heavy Bitcoin and very, very light altcoins. And most of my altcoins are brand new altcoins. I don't have pretty much anything from the prior cycle. I have a few positions, but not many. Most of my altcoin positions, my heavy altcoin positions, are in the ordinal space. And even then, I say they're heavy, they still account for, as far as account allocation from when I made the purchases, they account for 1 to 2% of the total portfolio. Now they're worth much more of the portfolio, but the account allocation has been very, very mild, and it's been great. Bitcoin has been the play. Bitcoin has been continuously doing fantastic. Of course, there are outliers. Solana has been doing incredible. Caspa, if you happen to get into the Caspa trade, that has also been incredible. So I'm not saying that alts are not performing. That's just not altcoin season. Altcoin season is when everything performs. Everything performs. It doesn't matter what you're doing. All the new people, all the new money is coming into the market, and they're buying anything that anybody tells them to, and they don't have any idea what the fuck they're buying, and they don't have a reason to buy it. That's altcoin season. So there's been some good altcoin plays, but we haven't seen altcoin season just yet. Do you see a slow multi-month uptrend and then end a 70% pullbacks going forwards? Okay, let me. Do I see slow multi-month uptrend? No, I don't. I see a fast multi-month uptrend. Like, very hard to trade. This is why I'm saying the best thing to do is just chill and do nothing. If you're allocated, if you're in the market, if you're in Bitcoin, best thing you can do is do nothing, or sell your fucking car, sell your house, and buy spot. Not financial advice. You know, we're getting a little extended for you to be selling the house, but maybe you're selling the car. And then end of 70% pullbacks? No. We're going to have 70% pullbacks. We may even see 80% pullbacks. The pullbacks are not done. They're never done. The market doesn't give a fuck. The market is not where you think it is. You live inside of a bubble. The participants that are coming in as a result, these are the people that don't understand the most. They just keep hearing about Bitcoin, and they keep hearing about Bitcoin at higher prices. And these are the people that understand the least about Bitcoin. They're going to FOMO in because, nation states are FOMOing in. They're going to FOMO in because it's easier to buy with the ETFs. But Wall Street's in, man. Wall Street's in, and Wall Street they're not done fucking you. They always fuck you. That's what they do. Is this the end of 70% pullbacks? Fuck no. Absolutely not. Wall Street's going to fuck you. That's what they do. So we will see 70% pullbacks. And we will continue to see 70% pullbacks until people start to actually use Bitcoin as a currency. There is a growing cohort of individuals who are using Bitcoin as a store of value, and there's a small cohort of individuals who are living on a Bitcoin standard, myself included, but it's so niche. It is so niche. Most people who are holding Bitcoin, the vast majority, I would hazard to guess 90% of people who hold Bitcoin are doing so for no other reason than speculation on price. And if they don't get the returns that they are expecting, they will dump it. Guaranteed. They're not using it as a store of value. They don't see it as an inflation hedge. And they're certainly not accepting it as a day-to-day currency. They are not living that way. All right. Bitcoin dominance. We all clear on that? Uptrend continues as long as Bitcoin's uptrend continues. Let's take a look at gold. Gold getting a little bit of a cool down here, probably due to the fact that Trump is promised to kind of end funding in the war. You know, the Ukrainian war is going to lose a lot of funding, and it's very likely that Ukraine just simply can't defend itself in a war against Russia if it's not funded. I mean, Ukraine is a tiny little country. They're not going to be able to defend themselves against Russia if they're not heavily backed and funded by the US. When that funding gets pulled, that war will be over. So gold is a traditional kind of wartime asset. Will this be a top? No, it's also an inflation hedge, but yeah, you're going to get a little bit of a consolidation. May not be much of one. Maybe we just pull back to this and that's it, and it continues to rally. Gold has been showing a lot of strength, and when an asset shows strength, the assumption is more strength. Yeah. Babby Baylor Bear? Am I in here talking to myself? No, you're talking to me, man. Talking to me. I think with Trump win, Microsoft shareholders have a better chance of getting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know, one of the bigger shareholders of Microsoft is Van Eck. BlackRock is also a huge shareholder in Microsoft, but I think, no, not Van Eck, Vanguard. And Vanguard has been openly really against Bitcoin. And I think they are the number one shareholder of Microsoft. I could be totally wrong. Go ahead and fact check me. I don't know. They're in the top. I don't know if they're above BlackRock or not. I think they're actually the top shareholder of Microsoft. So if Vanguard is openly against Bitcoin, of course they're going to have the most voting power, and they're going to vote against getting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Will their vote alone be enough to sway what the rest of the vote could be? Who knows? But yeah, we're going to see a lot more adoption of Bitcoin, especially once if Donald Trump follows through with his promise to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet as a formal strategic stockpile. I don't know what's different, if it's stockpile or reserve, or if that was just him misspeaking. But if it does become a strategic reserve asset for the US Treasury, other countries are going to be forced to do that. I'm more so interested in seeing the nation state FOMO. And it's interesting to see that the nation state FOMO is coming so quickly before a lot of the institutional corporate FOMO has happened. But, you know, Microsoft's talking about it. Let's see what the shareholders want. If Microsoft puts Bitcoin on their balance sheet, it'll be a good, very, very good thing. Vanguard owns everything. Yeah. Vanguard and BlackRock. All right. If you guys aren't already into the Discord, click the link for the Discord. Let me share that on YouTube Shorts. Let's copy that. Let's go over to YouTube Shorts. We're going to get some of that Saudi love. Of course, Saudi princes are going to be buying Bitcoin. Everybody's going to be buying Bitcoin. Doesn't matter if you're a sovereign wealth fund. Doesn't matter if you're a corporation. Doesn't matter if you're a nation state. They're all going to be buying Bitcoin. What's your expected top for Bitcoin? Anywhere from 250,000 to 1.2 million. Kind of a useless range. I don't try to predict the market. I react to the certain market conditions that are happening in real time. So one of the conditions for me to sell is we need to be post-halving. We need to have an over-exuberant rally where a new cohort of individuals has come in, new money flooding in. We need euphoria in the market, and we need our custom indicator to flash from green to red. Let me show you what that looks like. This is the alphanumerics indicator. Let's make it a little bit brighter. So here is an example of the prior rally. So the wave was green. And then the moment the wave turned from green to red, after the halving, after the breakout of the all-time high, after exuberant price action, all of those need to equal true. and then it goes from green to red, we're done. We're done. It's over from that point. So that's when I'm going to be selling. And that can happen at any price. That's why I don't have price targets. I move based on market conditions. I don't move on price conditions. So that can happen at 90K. That can happen at 900K. That can happen at 1.2 million. That can happen at 2.2 million. I have no idea. I have no idea. And nobody has any ideas. But when all of my sell parameters align, it's over. It called the top here. It called the top here. It called the top back here in 2017. It called the local top here. It's very good at calling tops. It's very good at calling tops. If you want access to this information, we feed it to you guys for free in the Discord. The indicator itself is not free. That's not part of the Blackbox company. That is Matt's prior company. We don't have the rights to give you guys that indicator. It's a paid indicator. You can get it if you want. But the information that indicator is giving out, we are providing that crucial information in the Discord for free. So if you want access to that, just sign up. Sign up down below. Use one of the partner exchanges, any partner exchange you want. You don't have to trade on it right away. But if you do take any of the trades that you find valuable in our Discord server, we do ask that you use the partnered exchanges so that we can get a small commission from your trading volume. Very fair deal. We don't think that it's asking a lot. And we provide a shit ton of value. Really, really, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I know what our competitors are doing. And as far as our competitors are doing, we're offering a lot, especially for free. Solid logic. I like the channel. Give us a follow, man. Hit the bell notification. I'm thinking the best case scenario top is 300K. A lot of confluence at 300K. Yeah, I think 300K is a solid number. That 300, 320, there's a lot of things that you could point to that would align us to around that 300K level. The only reason I have such a stupid, $1.2 million price target is I need to tell my brain that that's an okay target. That's an okay target. That's an achievable target. Because the one thing, with all of these models, they're looking at the models as though there's a constant on supply. And the supply that we're seeing this cycle has never been lower. The available trading supply has never been lower. So if we get the most demand we've ever seen in any prior cycle, and we have the least amount of supply we've ever seen in any prior cycle, you need to have those kind of silly targets and a way to capitalize on those silly targets on the downside. Should those silly targets come to fruition, you already have a plan. Any prediction for the top? Okay, yeah, somebody already asked that. All right. So let's take a look at ETH. Is ETH ready to fucking go yet? I'm liking this structure for once, at least on the dollar pair. The Bitcoin pair has been horrendous. We'll take a look at that in a moment. But this doesn't look bad. This doesn't look bad. This looks like ETH is finding a footing. It's finding a floor here on a predictable kind of support / resistance flip range, as well as our 200 moving average on the weekly, which is great. Really good structure. Really good support being respected here on the dollar pair. Let's take a look at what's going on the Bitcoin pair, because that's been the one to watch. Weekly green diamond. Weekly green diamond on ETH BTC. I have been shitting all over Ethereum. Shitting, literally just calling people fucking retards for holding ETH for years now. Years. And I've said, if you are buying ETH below this downward sloping line of resistance, you're an idiot. And if you keep buying ETH below this line of resistance, you're an idiot. That being said, with this green diamond, if ever there was a time, if ever there was a reason to take a position in ETH, this is the reason. These are very rare. Granted, the last one did not mark the low. The last one did not mark the low, but it did mark a rally. It didn't mark the low. These are very powerful. And we were not ready to shift the market into altcoin season back here. We are ready to shift the market into altcoin season here. So if you are an ETH bull, if you are already buying ETH, regardless of me calling you an idiot for doing so, at this point right here, this is probably the best case that could be made for you to be buying ETH. This is not bad at all. If you want further confirmation that this green diamond is valid, you want to get above the weekly 7. Currently, the weekly 7 is around 3.8 million sats per ETH. If Ethereum can get above 3.8 million sats per ETH on a weekly candle close, that would be further confirmation that we are ready to buck the trend here on ETH BTC, and we could be approaching the floor, and maybe my 3 million sat per ETH target that I've had for the last 2 years might not actually happen, and we're finding the floor here. That could be what's happening right now. So for the first time in a long time, I have something nice to say about ETH. That's not bad. That is not bad. 2-week green diamond ETH BTC. Oh, really? Really? 2-week green diamond, which has never happened before. Never happened before. Yeah, it's not looking terrible. It's looking the best it's looked. I mean, from a value perspective, is it bucking the trend yet? No, it's not. It's got a little bit of work to do in order to repair the downtrend. It's clearly still in a downtrend, so you got to approach it. But if you believe we're going into a bull market, if you believe that alts are going to outperform, if you believe that Ethereum is going to repair some of the negative damage that it's had, if you believe all of those things and you think that ETH is going to break this downtrend, you could take this bullish idea and you could front run it because of the fact that we have a weekly green diamond and we have a 2-week green diamond. What does the mask mean? You're wearing your happy mask, but you're dead inside. Is that what that means? All right. So ETH, not bad. Not looking bad. Let's take a look in the S&P. S&P at all-time highs. Is the NASDAQ at all-time highs? NASDAQ is at all-time highs. Everything is aligning. Let's take a look at the DXY. DXY is rallying. So, you know, I've said on several shows here that you want this to be falling. And traditionally speaking, that has been a true statement. But for whatever reason, the asset market is so strong, and the currency market in every currency that isn't the dollar is so weak. So this could be kind of the beginning. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the dollar milkshake theory, but this could be showing a little bit of kind of the dollar milkshake theory coming true. The dollar milkshake theory, you know, go look it up on YouTube, dollar milkshake theory. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but effectively what it means is other currencies are forced to debase their currency faster than the US dollar because they have to service US dollar denominated debt. So it actually makes the dollar stronger. The fact that we're seeing strength in the dollar, we're seeing strength in the S&P, we're seeing strength in the NASDAQ, we're seeing strength in gold, and we're seeing strength in Bitcoin is unusual. This is kind of, you know, almost in this everything bubble territory. So we'll see what happens moving forwards in this bull market. But yeah, traditionally speaking, you want to see this going down because every asset that we're pricing in dollars. So you get an advantage when the dollar is losing value against the asset that you're pricing it against. But Bitcoin's doing fantastic in the face of its comparative denomination getting stronger. Market looks bullish. I've been saying the market has been looking bullish for months. Nobody wanted to believe me. A lot of people lost faith. A lot of people got scared. Some people even sold. Some people exited positions. Some people made some very poor decisions, probably sold right down at the lows of Bitcoin. I'm sure there's a ton of people that sold here at a 49K, and now they're up. Now we're up here and they're like, fuck, what do I do? You got to have conviction. You got to have conviction to your positions. And the best way to have conviction is to educate yourself on what Bitcoin is, what it does, why it's important, and then try and find anything better than it. There's nothing better than Bitcoin. From an investment point of view, in my mind, in my world, from an investment point of view, there is nothing better than Bitcoin. That's where I derive my conviction of these positions. All right, let's see what's going on with Blackbox, our custom trading bot. Really, the community's quite annoyed with Blackbox, not going to lie, because we missed all of this. We did get, a little bit of profit over here, and we got some profit over here, but certainly we didn't capture this move. And, the thing is, when you analyze Blackbox at a trade by trade basis, you're going to be disappointed because you're always going to have a criticism. You're going to be like, well, we should have entered here, or maybe we should have taken profit here. Why did it close here? Why didn't it close there? Why didn't it take this? Why didn't it do that? When you look at each individual trade, I guarantee you there's going to be a criticism. But the reality is, for those who have been in Blackbox since, the couple months that it's been live, you have 25% more Bitcoin than when you started with. And now Bitcoin is rallying. While Bitcoin was losing value, let's look at this a different way. Let's go back to the weekly. So this consolidation is about 25% of a spread in Bitcoin. So the number that you had at the top here, the bot created that number again for you at the bottom, but now we have, 25% more Bitcoin, and we've rallied all the way up and we're breaking out. The point of the strategy is to look at it on a month by month basis. Every month it makes you more Bitcoin. If you're in the Tether bot, we have non-KYC options because there was a lot of people that wanted non-KYC. So we offered non-KYC. The non-KYC option currently doesn't have coin margin, but we strongly recommend that you get yourself on the coin margin on BitGet. So, if you need a digital ID, get a digital ID. They're not hard. It's $250. Boom. You have a government issued identification in the country of Palau. You can trade on any exchange that you want legally. If you want more information on that, go into the Discord. I'll tell you all about it. It's very, very easy. But there is coin margin coming. So if you were in the coin margin futures markets, you got 25% more Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's up, baby. Bitcoin's up from the all-time high. Up. Yeah, it got up 5%. Anyway, 5%. It's just the beginning. The point I'm trying to make here is during this consolidation, you were earning Bitcoin. Now we're out of this consolidation. You have more Bitcoin, and we are going to continue to stack sats for you with the bot. More bots coming, some more aggressive bots, some less aggressive bots as well, some more swing trade bots because we need to be able to get into the positions that do capitalize on these big moves. People were very disappointed that we missed this big move, but the way the bot is designed is to be aggressive with defending the position. So when you're very, very aggressive with defending the position, sometimes you close a position too early. It still made you money, but you closed it too early. If you want to have those Hail Mary bots, yes, we can make those Hail Mary bots. They're just going to leave your account open to more downside volatility. So there's always a trade-off. There's always a trade-off with bots. So just bringing that to your attention. By the way, if you guys aren't already signed up, go to blackbox.pro, blkbox.pro. Free to sign up, free to use. actually free, not a free trial. The whole thing's free. We don't charge anything. We work with the exchanges and we get a small commission based off of your trading volume using the fees that you are paying no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're trading on Binance, doesn't matter if you're trading on Bybit, doesn't matter if you're trading on BitGet. These are fees you're already paying. We're just getting a cut of that. So really good offer, really good service. We hope to see you in the Discord. So I would like to see the pullback. I think we're going to get the pullback, provided that this daily candle closed right up against this yellow channel here. So maybe a pullback down to, you know, we're going to go shallow here and maybe call it 74, 74.5, 74.250, something like that. We're going to go shallow on it. So 70, 74... 74.250, hoping that that gives us a reset because we're not quite there with the 128 EMA. I don't want another one of these. We should have reset and we should have gotten all of that. I don't want this again. So we got to get below that line. But yeah, regardless, plenty of good things to be looking at. Let's take a look at a couple individual alts. This is the time where you guys get to spam your tickers. And we'll take a look at some of the projects that you are interested in. Okay, do you think with institutional investors, we will see a disruption in the normal 4-year cycle? Could we break the cycle? I can't predict the future. But I have been right on a lot of things, and I have been able to be counter narrative to a lot of people, and it has served me very well. And I've been right on a lot of things. Do I think we can break the 4-year cycle? I actually do. I actually do think that we're going to break the 4-year cycle. I think that this is the last rally in a 4-year cycle, and the next bear market is going to be the longest bear market. Not a popular opinion, very counter narrative, very counter expectation, which is exactly why I tend to lean towards that. I'm always counter narrative. I'm always counter expectation. Everybody is assuming that because the institutional investors are in, and because nation states are coming in, that the bear markets are we're not gonna get bear markets. I think the next bear market is going to be 2 cycles long. As bullish as I am and as optimistic as I have been this whole stream, especially if Bitcoin gets up to about $1 million. If Bitcoin reaches my silly targets, then I think we're going to have an extended bear market, 2 cycles long, because there's just way too much complacency in the expectation of behavior for Bitcoin that the market needs to be corrected. And because everybody feels so safe with this 4-year cycle theory, we need to destroy that narrative. And the best way to destroy it is not to accelerate the 4-year cycle. The best way to destroy it is to extend the 4-year cycle. That's not going to land with a lot of people, and a lot of people are going to disagree because of the fundamentals behind Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. Do I think the 4-year cycle can be broken? Yes, I do. And I think it will be broken because here's the thing. Okay, let's stop talking about Bitcoin for just a moment. Okay, let me bring some context into why I think this. Why I think this has more to do with the traditional market than it has to do with Bitcoin. Why I think this is the S&P is a fucking shitcoin. Look at how aggressive this is. And we're going to continue to go parabolic in the S&P. This is what's known as a hyperwave, okay? A hyperwave, when it finally concludes, will conclude with a 60 to 70% correction. Could you imagine the carnage of a 70% correction in the S&P? It would be devastation. It would be absolutely horrendous. So with the S&P, because we're in this hyperwave structure, if we continue to be hyperwave, you know, we're still looking at the bullish side for now. We're still on the bullish side. We're not on that bearish side. But if this hyperwave structure continues, not good, not sustainable. You need a real market correction to reset all of the fake money and fake liquidity and fake value that's built into a hyperwave. Same thing with the NASDAQ. It's just hyperbolic. It can continue, but when it peaks, it's going to crash hard. Look at the dollar. Everything is doing really well with the dollar. All of gold is doing well. S&P is doing well. NASDAQ's doing well. And the dollar is doing well. Something's got to break. Something has to break. So with this hyperwave theory, I think we could have kind of a more traditional financial market crash where it's, you know, your financial crisis, your .com bubble, those types of crashes. And I think Bitcoin is not immune to that. It's not immune to that. So if Bitcoin finds itself in that scenario where you've had a blow off top in the traditional markets and we're in an extended bear market in traditional markets, Bitcoin's going to break the 4-year cycle, but it's just going to break it by extending it to an 8-year cycle or a 10-year cycle. Let me show you one more chart. I want to show you Microsoft. Okay, what's the ticker for Microsoft? Okay. This is the .com bubble, right? This was the .com bubble. Now, from the point at which the very first email was ever sent to the point at which we had the peak in the .com bubble was about 17 years. I think I have my math on that right. About 17 years. So from the point at which the very first email was sent on the World Wide Web to the point at which we got to the .com bubble was 17 years. Now, if we go roll it back, how long is it going to take for us to get to the point at which Bitcoin, the very first Bitcoin transaction was sent, the very first, you know, email of value was sent to 17 years later? That brings us to 2026. So from an adoption curve, you know, we're looking right now in crypto, it's kind of like the .com bubble. We don't have the adoption. What was the adoption in 2000s? We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Uber. We didn't have like most of these companies. We had the technology. We had the backing. We had the blockchain. We had the wallets. We had, you know, the functionality, but it wasn't great. That's kind of where we are in crypto. So I think we get this. And then I also think we get this, you know, so if we're talking like a $1 million Bitcoin because things got silly and we're in the .com bubble of our age, yeah, we're going to crash. And it's going to be a total crash where the S&P crashes, the NASDAQ crashes, everything crashes, the dollar crashes, and crypto is going to crash hard. And it's going to stay that way for 3,000 days is when the low came in. And then it began to repair itself. But look at what happened after. Look at what happened after. So these are just my theories. Take them with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Figure out your own things. But this is just how I think. This is just how I think. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Good morning from Greece. Welcome in, Chris. What's your opinion on Sats, Trax, and Bitmap? My opinion is the same. Ordinals will have their day in the sun. Let's take a look at Track. So yeah, I don't want to scare anybody. I'm so bullish. I'm so bullish on the short to medium term here. I'm bullish. I'm very bullish for the next 6 months, and I'm going to reassess after 6 months. A lot can happen in 6 months. A lot can happen. Believe me. If you think $1 million isn't possible in 6 months, you haven't been in crypto as long as I have. A lot can happen. Track sitting at a floor, hasn't really broken any structure yet. It needs to break this downtrending. We can put a downtrend on it now. Needs to break the downtrend. Until it breaks the downtrend, it won't break the downtrend. The assumption is the downtrend continues, but the downtrend is flattening out. So, you know, we just launched TAP. The TAP protocol has launched. Taproot swap, that is kind of the Uniswap for Bitcoin, has launched. There's a few things that Taproot needs to do. Let's take a look at Taproot. Taprootswap.com. This is the Bitcoin version of Uniswap. We'll go into it here. Let's launch the swap. Yeah, I read, I acknowledge. So very similar interface to what we're used to with Uniswap, but here's what it is missing. The pools are listed. The TVL is listed, but what is not listed is the yield. Taproot Swap needs to give the user an incentive to add to these pools. And right now they don't have an incentive to add to these pools. When Uniswap first launched, people saw, 500% APY. They saw, 5,000% APY, 8,000% APY. Because the early pool contributors got the most. They were given the most. So we don't see that. They need to add that. When they add that, maybe you'll get a little bit more people FOMOing into the pools, but as it stands right now, nobody's really going into the pools. It's TAP BTC. This is running on the TAP protocol. It's only got it doesn't even have one Bitcoin worth of value. That's pathetic. Really pathetic. Abysmal, actually. DMT Nat, 17 million sats. Are you kidding me? That's embarrassing. That's nothing. Nothing. Absolutely abysmal. That's it. And there's just nothing. There's nothing here yet. So we're nowhere near getting to that point where people get really, really excited. And I think an easy way to get people excited is to add the APY. Add the APY, people will FOMO in big time. Until they do that, it's not happening. So that's the reason that we're not seeing the follow through with Track. Track all of this will happen. It's only a matter of time. It will happen. I'm not worried at all. At all. It will happen. But nothing happened just now, and nothing is happening yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at Magic Eden. Go to Bitmaps. Good evening from Chicago. What time is it? New York. Oh, okay. It's not that late in Chicago. Welcome in. Bitmaps. Bitmap. Same thing with Bitmap. The foundation is set. Like, we're ready to do something with Bitmap, but people got to do it. So until a lot more of these metaverse projects are built, it's just not going to happen. Let's go with all-time high here, or all history. It's flatlined, so we're not going to lose too much more. It's currently sitting at 39,000 sats per bitmap. 39,000 sats per bitmap ain't bad. I mean, it was a lot better when it was 740,000 sats per bitmap. But those days are no longer. It'll come back. I mean, this is accumulation, long-term accumulation. Once the FOMO hits the market, like I said, true altcoin season is when everybody buys things they don't understand. Does everybody understand Bitmap? No, they fucking don't. But there's a huge community behind Bitmap. Bitmaps are going to get shilled to shit. I'm not worried. It's going to take off. Not worried. What else? What else did you ask for? Sats. Sats actually doesn't look too bad. Sats has been decent. Kind of following a little bit more lockstep with Ordi. Our last call is down about 9%, but our original call is still up 2,500%. Yeah, just accumulation. All of it's accumulation. It doesn't matter what ordinal I look at this point. They're all in accumulation. So, you know, accumulation, it'll take time. Once the FOMO comes back into the market, we're good to go. Am I buying any positions? No. Do I recommend that you buy any positions? No. Not until strength comes back. When strength comes back, then you can buy. You want to be flat, trading sideways. As soon as you get that blip where you've made a new high and a new higher low and you've got volume coming in and there's positive sentiment shifting, that's your setup. So right now there's nothing to do. You just wait. Thoughts on Maniki on Solana? Make it two good evenings from close to the same spot. Okay. Did you get grass airdrop? I don't know. I don't know. What's the grass airdrop? I get a lot of airdrops, and I usually ignore all of them because they're kind of... Airdrops are shit. I don't give a fuck about airdrops, honestly. A lot of people care a lot about airdrops. I don't give a fuck about airdrops. If you're going to give me something for free, it's not worth anything. Natcats. Natcats. Still flat. Same thing. Same thing. Ordinals they're all the same. They're all the same. Flat, long-term accumulation, waiting for some volume to come into the market. Grass. Grass. On Solana, I doubt it. I don't play around on Solana. Earn and stake in AI. All right, so some sort of, oh, that's fun, sideways scrolling. Dashboard for what? Got some sort of referral program, so they're airdropping and doing referrals. I don't know what this is. It looks really scammy though. Keep running in the background and earn, so that's node based. Keep and track your earnings. What is this? Is it just for you to track earnings in grass? Yeah, it looks like a scam. It's a dumb fucking scam. You're probably just a troll shill looking to capitalize on my platform here by me looking at your stupid fucking scam. Check out MAGA. I can only imagine. Oh, yeah, it's done. It's done. So you got to be really careful with meme coins. The best meme coins have no insiders. And those are really hard to find. They're really hard to find, okay? When you have like a targeted campaign, like a targeted marketing campaign where people are clearly taking advantage of a certain current event situation, you got a lot of insiders, and the insiders are just waiting for you to be exit liquidity. In most conditions, in most circumstances, memes you're just going to get dumped on. They're a scam. They're always a scam, but in most conditions, they're a in most scenarios, they are blatantly a scam of people trying to shill you something that they know that they're just going to dump on you. Every once in a while, you find a random meme that is kind of what's called grassroots, where it's just, launched. The owner have no share in it whatsoever. They buy it just like everybody else. There are no insiders. It's like a stealth launch. It gets launched out and it generates a life of its own. Those are super rare. Super, super rare. One of them is Sats, by the way. Sats took like 3 months. I can't remember exactly, but it took like 3 months to mint out. Huge distribution, great distribution. But MAGA, they were just capitalizing on the election. The election's over. Insiders dumped their tokens. That one's done. Done. That's weird. We don't have the same coin, I think, but somehow it's also called MAGA, so it's a different MAGA. MAGA hat, dark MAGA, Trump coin, fight, MAGA MAGA Trump. They're all looking terrible, my friend. Minus 61, minus 56, minus 73, minus 58, minus 58, minus 50. None of them look great. It's a shitcoin. You got scammed. Hope you didn't get scammed for too much. Lessons are valuable. All right, you're Maxi. Good. It's the only one that was doing well, but it also tanked 82% today. Yeah. I think a lot of the election stuff, it was just they were just trailing you along. And then when the election's over, the coin's over. Oh yeah, Minicky. Manicky. Okay. Manicky. Yeah. I don't know enough about it. You need to break out of the channel. Until it shows strength, it's weak. Until it breaks out of the channel, stays above, and fucks off, it's weak. When it fucks off, it'll be strong. And then you can position alongside of it. But right now it's range bound, so it'll stay range bound. Ponky. I'm wondering if memes are overdone at this point, and maybe we shift the meta over to fundamental tokens, because fundamental tokens have not done anything this cycle, and a lot of the market, including myself, has even been convinced that maybe memes are the play. But because so much of the market is buying into memes, it makes me wonder if memes are actually done. And now we go back to fundamentals, because fundamentals haven't had their day in the sun. Think about this. What's going to happen in phase 2? In phase 2, new people are going to come in. These are not crypto people. These are new people. Are new people ready to just buy something for no reason? Are new people ready to buy a picture of a cat? They live in the normie world. They're NPCs. They're still plugged in. They don't realize that this is a game, and they want to buy something that they perceive as valuable. And I find it hard to believe that the new cohort of individuals with new liquidity coming into this market are going to, right off the bat, just be buying memes. I think they're going to be more inclined to buy projects that they believe have fundamental value. So we might actually see a new meta in the market where fundamental projects begin to flourish again. Who knows? I can't really predict the future, but just food for thought, something to think about. What is the new cohort going to be interested in? Popcat, FWOG, SPX 6900 is done. Guaranteed the SPX 6900 is done. That was a rug. SPX 6900. See, they already got a 2.0. So they're doing the same scam over again. The first scam was such a beautiful success. Yeah, I don't know. It's still up there. Still up there. Let's see what the new scam's up to. Where did you buy? That's kind of the better question to be asking. Like, where did you buy? Did you buy when it was flat, or did you buy when it was completely fucking vertical? Because if you bought when it was vertical, you're in danger. If you bought when it is flat, you should be taking profits. So it's a no buy. It's a no buy. I don't care if you're coming to it right now. I don't care if you've been in it for a long time. It's not a buy for me. It's a sell if you got profit. That's my opinion. Not financial advice. You got to do your own shit. Disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. 2.0 hasn't done anything yet, so maybe 2.0 is the play. I wish there was something to mine with GPUs. I have 140 of them sitting here left over from mining ETH for 7 years for Bitcoin. Wow. Yeah. I think what was the last, you know what sucks too, as I'm sure you're already aware because you're a GPU miner, is everybody's doing their own infrastructure now. So what do they call those? Fuck. There's a lot of parts of the market that I faded. Decentralized infrastructure. DApp? No. One of you guys help me out here. I know that you know what I'm trying to say here. And anyways, decentralized infrastructure. They have their own hardware. They're selling their own hardware so that you can mine their own shitcoin. What a fucking scam. What a fucking scam that is, you know. We already have that market, guys. It's called the mining market. It's called the mining industry. Some of them are ridiculous too. Like they're saying they're putting them up in space and shit. I went to Token 2049 and so many of those fucking stupid infrastructure things. BitConnect. Yeah, that's the one. That's what I'm looking for. FWOG looks good. Not crazy. I mean, it's a dangerous entry right now. But Frog looks decent. That's the thing about memes. You ride the trend, you get your shit, you get out. Ride the trend, get your shit, get out. It's a game of musical chairs. Honestly, wish these shitcoins didn't exist. That way people wouldn't get wrecked on them and the liquidity would go into great assets like BTC. Oh, shitcoins are the best way to get liquidity into BTC. Absolutely. Behind every shitcoin is a shitcoin scammer, and behind every shitcoin scammer is a huge stack of Bitcoin. The best way to pump Bitcoin is with scams. The Bitcoin, the fucking shitcoin scammer is just converting everything into Bitcoin. They're Bitcoiners. They just want your Bitcoin. Any examples of fundamental coins to swap profits? I don't think you should do too much chopping and changing. You got to do your own research. I'm not going to give you a recommendation. I've covered a couple of them already on the stream. The reason I'm not going to give you what I think is valuable is because ultimately there's thousands of tokens out there and I don't know. One of the most important ingredients for you to be successful in your trade is conviction. So the reason I'm not going to tell you is because you are not going to be as convicted off of a tip as you are going to be off of your own research. I would steer you in the direction of looking towards some of the innovations that are happening on Bitcoin. And I would also steer you in the direction of looking at ICP and Cardano. Maybe we take a look at those charts too. We can take a look at ICP and Cardano. Take a look over there. What do you think is fundamentally important? And when you find something fundamentally important, why do they need the token? That's important as well. And then when you find that, you'll find your conviction. You did mine a shit ton of Caspa with GPUs in the very, very early days. Did really well on it as well. No shit, Gary. Caspa went ballistic. Caspa went ballistic. What was I going to do? I feel like I was going to go do something. Oh, yeah. ICP. The only reason I'm even looking at ICP is because of what they're doing on the Bitcoin ecosystem. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, not just from a speculative store of value point of view, but from what's actually happening from a fundamental and technical smart contract point of view on Bitcoin. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Taproot swap, which we looked at earlier, runs somehow, haven't looked into it fully, but it runs using ICP smart contracts to maintain Bitcoin functionality on the base layer. So ICP, something to look into. You know, it's had its sideways, it's had its pop, it's had its backup. If you get some sort of a breakout here and take out some of these highs, it could be a good play. Cardano, shocking myself this cycle. Last cycle, I shat all over Cardano and I praised the hell out of Ethereum. This cycle, I shat all over Cardano and I shat all over Ethereum, but now I'm looking at Cardano. It's interesting. Aerodome Finance, I looked at that one before. I don't remember anything being significant about it, so I'm going to skip it. No offense. Yeah, it could do something interesting. Again, a lot of it hinges on the fact that you need to see smart contract success on Bitcoin. So Charles Hoskinson recently came out and said, you know, we're going to build a Bitcoin layer 2, which is the only thing I've ever heard come out of that man's mouth, which I actually agreed with. Cardano, as a base layer competitor to Bitcoin, you're fucking dead in the water. There's just no chance. You're just not going to do anything. But using Cardano smart contracts to facilitate layer 2 side chains for Bitcoin, now you have at least something of value. I don't think, you know, fundamentally, I still believe that Cardano will lose value against Bitcoin over time and it'll never outperform Bitcoin. But in the short term, during a bull market, during an altcoin season, we could certainly see some sort of performance. I don't know if we'll ever reach the all-time highs, but we could come close. We could come up to the all-time high. So what's that? 700% move in Cardano. It could do more. It could do more. But yeah, that hinges on the fact that there needs to be a lot of hype around Bitcoin, and that currently doesn't exist. Not to the level that it exists on Solana, and still not to the level that it exists on Ethereum, believe it or not. The Ethereum bulls are still very gung-ho. Ethereum. Last thing, I heard our new VP JD Vance is a big Avalanche holder. Okay. I'm not a fan of the, so blanket statement, take it with a grain of salt. I don't give a shit about old projects. Because to me, in my world, altcoins are a test network for Bitcoin. And that's it. So when you have an old project, an old coin, to be more specific, when you have an old coin, I think over time, what it does is I'll pull up a Litecoin LTC BTC chart just to kind of paint a picture. Over time, it just loses value in Bitcoin terms. Over time, it just loses value in Bitcoin terms. So if you are to create a product, if this is a true statement, where over time, it doesn't matter how good the project is, over time, it loses purchasing power in Bitcoin terms. That means the best place and the best use of funds and the best organization of capital and the best cash flow that you can create is a Bitcoin cash flow. And if you can create a Bitcoin cash flow and share that Bitcoin cash flow, well, maybe you have something of value. But when these projects isolate themselves and they try to compete with Bitcoin, we have enough data to prove that you're just not going to compete. You're just not going to compete. So it's the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them. So Avalanche has some very cool ideas. I can't remember off the top of my head what Avalanche's claim to fame was, but they had something about, they had resistance. They needed 80% of some sort of node capacity. They needed like 80% of the control of the nodes in order to do what would traditionally be a 51% attack, where other chains need only 51% of node control to do a double spend. Avalanche figured out a way to do that at 80%. So they were experimenting. They were experimenting with different protocols and different ways of doing different things. And if there are really, truly good ideas, Bitcoin adopts them. Smart contracts, beautiful idea. We need smart contracts. Ethereum was the first to do smart contracts. Beautiful idea. Where are they being developed now? They're being developed on Bitcoin. Why? Because Bitcoin, if you can create cash flow, you want that cash flow to be in the hardest asset possible in the blockchain space. Yeah, 80% is Bitcoin. So yeah, if JD Vance has Avalanche, that's more of a reflection of his bullishness on the innovations that are happening in the space. And he's going to probably try to protect the crypto industry in America, which is good. It's a net positive thing. Is he going to add Avalanche to the Strategic National Reserve? No, he's not. But interesting nonetheless. All right, I've been yammering on for an hour and a half. That's a lot longer than I usually do. Let's just do a quick check-in on Bitcoin here, and then we'll sign off. Bitcoin getting that little pullback. Are we getting that reset? Yeah. Give us our pullback, baby. We need to pull back to the 128. 128 EMA, which is currently at $73,839 on the index chart. If we can do that, we will get a reset on Bangbox and get set up for the next big move, which could be a breakout candle, could be a God candle. If you want to get 10x leverage on a God candle where you don't need to do anything, sign up, get into the Discord, sign up, make your free Blackbox trading account. Sign up with either a BitGet account. I recommend a BitGet account because you can use coin margin, or if you are wanting to use these products with no KYC restrictions, We also offer Blowfin. Blowfin has no KYC. You can start an account immediately. Don't need a passport, don't need an ID, don't need any of that shit. So you can sign up with Blowfin and get ready for the next move. I think it's going to be a big one. If you're not wanting to get in on the next move, but you just want to join the Discord, links have been spamming all over the chat. Get into the Discord, come say hi. And until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle out there. Peace.